What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Retro and Nerdy Podcast. I am Juan.
I'm gonna say this is Jen. It's Jen.
Just like, I'm tired.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday. Hopefully. Jesus, help me. What a mess. I'm tired too. We went to sleep super late yesterday. We spent some time with the mother-in-law, dog sitting Jen's sister's cats. Sorry, dogs. Holy heck. So yeah, we stood up pretty late just talking about stuff. So hopefully everybody had a good week. We did as well. Wednesday we dropped a video. We went to the Woodbridge Pokemon
Uh,
Card Show, and we want to talk a little bit about that show. If you watched our video, you got to see tons of vendors, and this took place in a hotel, so it was like conference rooms, and then they set up on half of the hotel lobby. It was they had a lot of great stuff. They have a
mm,
lot of nice vendors, but our biggest issue is like it's it's so it's such a small space and gets so crowded. It looks like
yeah,
they try to fit so many different tables into the venue that it was kind of hard to maneuver and get around.
yeah, a little, yeah. It was it. Um, there's definitely a lot of vendors. You definitely kind of when you go into these things, you have to know what you're looking for
Right.
because it can be a lot. Different vendors have different things, so it's good to have like a list of things that you want. So
Right. So we went. Jen picked up a few things. We ran into our friend Justin, Nemesis Prime, from the Comic Con podcast, and we talked to him for a little bit about some stuff and catching up on things. That's the great thing about some of these shows. You run into some friends and stuff like that. So the show overall was good. I wish it was in a bigger space. It could definitely fit a bigger space with the amount of people that went there.
yeah,
And this is again, it's a local show. I don't know who runs it, but it'd be interesting to have them on and speak to them. But yeah, I think out of all that, that was my only complaint. Everything else was good. The vendors were cool. The people were nice. No one was.
they're asking questions when they saw us walking around with the equipment, like with the mics and the cameras.
Yeah, super talkative. Very nice. Good deals
Uh-huh.
were had. And yeah, so that was that show. So go back, check out that video. We're trying to post videos at least twice a week. Mondays we'll be having the podcast. Wednesdays we'll be having whatever shop we went to. This Wednesday though, we're gonna have a special video posted on Jen's channel, Nerdy and Inked. What's it gonna be on?
A huge Sailor Moon haul.
Huge Sailor Moon haul. That's gonna be on her channel. Uh, on Wednesday will be uploaded. I'll put the link to her channel in the YouTube description. So yeah, we kind of had a idea just going over some stuff that we did in 2022, some of our more favorite pickups and places that we went to aside from Disney. We had that conversation on the last show. So
Mm-hmm.
this show we kind of wanted to talk about some of our favorite pickups, some of the things we didn't expect to find, and um, some of the things that we're looking forward to this year, aside from shows, but things that some personal goals that we have. Um, I don't want people to think like, oh, this is just going to be strictly on collecting, and that's a huge part of it. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it, we'll get a little personal. We'll get a little more into um, different topics relating to more mental health or just things that we see every day, um, and just share that what we think about those things. And especially coming from a point of view of marriage, it's it will get interesting for sure, and how we deal with arguments or disagreements or when we don't agree on things. There'll be stuff that you'll see and we'll talk about and discuss here. So, out of everything in 2022, is there something that you picked up, something that you got that you were like, "Oh crap, this is great. I can't believe I actually was able to own this thing and pick it up."
Mm, damn, that's a loaded question right there. Probably. I mean, there's a lot of things that I picked up last year that was really amazing and crazy that I found. But the one that sticks out the most, it would probably be this guy behind me, the Cyndaquil plushie that I found at a comic show. I want to say.
And what was the story with that one? I remember you you were telling me like this was something you owned a long time ago. What
Yeah.
was the uh, what was the deal with that?
So let me take you back in time. So they had a Pokemon Center in New York, which is now the Nintendo store. Um, that used to be the Pokemon Center. I want to say it came out in 2000, 2001. It was strictly Pokemon. So they had Nintendo, they had everything, the plushies, everything. So I remember back in the day, my dad took me there with my sister because we used to travel a lot to see him at work because he works in the city.
Yeah.
So we went there, and I remember he picked up two things for me. He picked up, which I think were like around $40 each back in the day, or I think it was 40 or 20. I forget. But it was these two, which are behind me, but you can't see it if it's on the podcast. But it's basically two life size, almost life size plushies, and it's from the Johto series in Pokemon. So it's Cyndaquil and Chikorita. So my dad bought me those two, and I remember walking around the city struggling to hold both of them because they're pretty big. And unfortunately, I gave them up in a donation
Right.
at a thrift store. And I remember that thrift store. It was unique, which is where I kind of frequent a lot. Um, I didn't. I think at the moment I was just going through something, and I was just getting rid of all my stuff, and that was the two things that I gave up. And yeah, it was a little sad to give them up because I've had them since I was little, and I gave them away. And throughout the years, I've been trying to find them again, but they're really hard. So yeah, I ended up meeting some very nice people at the convention who have been very nice to me. So when I initially spotted this, I remember when I walked into the show,
Yeah. We were
my
like,
eyes,
oh, we had a budget.
yeah.
We were like, well, we're not gonna
Just,
spend more than this much or whatever.
but I did tell myself and I made this a mental thing, a mental note. I said, if I ever find this anywhere,
Right.
I don't mind spending the money because it's something that means a lot to me and it's something that I will cherish. So,
Right.
like I said, it was the first booth we came into. I want to say it's Lone Wolf Comics.
I
If
think that's who it was.
Lone Wolf Comics or collectible, I forget,
Yep.
but I know it's. I want to say it's a married couple that runs it. If
And they frequent a lot of shows we go
yeah,
to.
and
A
they're
ton.
very nice.
Yeah.
They're always very welcoming when we come in and they see us. So I found him, and I remember pointing and grabbing you
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, I think I found something that I want."
Right.
And you were like, "You want to ask how much it is?"
Yeah. And me,
And
I don't know jack shit. So I'm like, well, is this authentic? Is this like the real deal? Like, how do you know? Like, I'll know a couple of things, but I don't know. The Pokemon stuff is not my wheelhouse.
right,
So I had to like, I always ask, even with me, like, is this legit? Legit check it.
yeah,
And then Jen's like, oh, this is, and if Jen says like, oh, this is the real thing, then it's good enough for me.
right. So there's two versions of these. There's the American one, I believe, and then there's the Japanese version. But you could tell by the ticket, I think, like there's a difference. But um, yeah, when I saw this one, I immediately went towards them and I said, hey, how much are you asking for it?
Mm.
And they gave me a really good deal, to be honest, because sometimes these can range for like 100, 150, depending where you're buying it from. Plus shipping is like 30 sometimes. So he was mine. The
Yeah.
minute I saw him, I paid. It was a done deal. I
So
was walking around the convention. You should have seen me. It was
yeah, it was
my
legit. The
face was
first thing we got when we
pure
when we
joy.
walked in. We had to Zelda guy too because it was just the best way to do it.
Yeah. But like I said, they gave me a really good deal on it and they helped me bring something back that I really wanted. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. For me, it was just it was a pretty cool year.
Mhm.
I figured out like hone in on things that you really want and then go after those things. So I think for me, one of the coolest things um, was this Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy,
Color.
for the Game Boy Color. And it was one of those games where um, it was hard to find, it was expensive, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna. And I don't do graded games.
No.
I know you're not in podcast line. You're not gonna be able to see this, but it's graded by Wada 90 CIB, and I don't do the graded stuff
No.
because I like to take it out. I like to look at it.
Yeah.
Um, so I just waited and I waited and I waited for it to go into auction. It did, and I paid well below anything else that I could find in the buy it now section. And I remember I wait. I think it was like a 7 day auction, and I just was like, all right, let me see what I'll get to. This is how much I'll spend, and that's it. And then I was just lucky enough where no one outbid me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I finally was able to get it. And I think Resident Evil is one of the greatest series of games, and this is one of the most rare, not the most rare, but one of the rarer titles. It was like the first mobile game
Oh, really?
that they ever made. So I've wanted it for a while. There's a couple of them now on eBay for like $900,
I believe it.
and it's not in the condition this is in. This is legit probably one of the cleanest
I mean,
copies I've ever seen.
The fact that it's graded really displays nicely. I
It
mean,
does.
It looks like
just
a
takes up
clean
ton
copy.
ton of space.
I
But
know, but it's the condition that does it.
yeah,
You
the
know?
condition is really good. So that was one of that was one of the things I was really happy to be able to pick up and own. It was
Yeah.
something I was after probably for 2 years. I think I was just watching it and hopefully hoping not to overpay, but
Yeah, that's the thing too. Sometimes things can be a little expensive, so
yeah,
you have to wait.
you have to wait, and sometimes you have to wait a while.
Yep.
But that's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
So those were that was one of the things that I picked up, and I was like, I can't believe, like, all right, cool, I have this now, I own this now, and it's a beautiful display piece. Anything else you picked up this past year that you were like, damn, this is awesome? Like,
Another toy. So this was a Digimon Vmon interactive.
oh
Toy?
yeah, that demon looking thing.
It's
It
not
was
a
really
demon-looking
freaky
thing.
looking. It really was.
You know what it is?
It's like a Furby. Remember Furby
well,
came out?
no, I feel like the Furbies are a lot more creepier. If you ask me, but this one, I want to say it came out like around the same time, maybe like 2000, 2004. I don't
Right.
know. The years kind of, kind of tricked me. But I found somebody who was selling it. It's in box, still working, because a lot of times when you buy these, they don't work.
Right.
Or they left the batteries in there for too long and it corroded the items. So yeah, that would probably be the second special thing. I mean, I did finagle the box, like I did like fix it. I put it back together,
All right.
and yeah, I want to say that's the second craziest thing that I bought last year.
Nice.
A lot of my stuff is toys.
Yeah, we did buy some books. You did a lot of work for your Sailor Moon comic book collection.
That was you.
Well,
You found those for
we
me
got lucky.
at a shop that I didn't even want to go into, but that we ended up passing along
Yeah,
the
we
way.
were just passing by, and
You
they
know?
had a.
We went to a flea market, I think, up there.
We went to not the English Town one.
No,
It's another one. I totally blanking on the name
I
now.
know we're rough.
But we
We're
passed
nice.
by the shop and they're like, oh shoot, they have like
You pointed out because I was looking at I think it was hold on, I think it was a dollar bin books that I was looking at,
yeah,
and then you're like, oh, they have a whole
It's
Sailor Moon collection,
nice
and I
little
was like,
stack. And she's like, well, what are we gonna do? I'm like, well, just get them all because it's
Yeah,
not
'cause,
something
I
you
was
run
like-
into. Even our local shop, we always
No,
go to
any-
Zap. They don't carry many of those.
any place that I've gone to be honest with you, never has these.
Right.
And even one time when I think we went to Florida, and I asked the guy, I was like, oh, do you have Sailor Moon the comics? And he's like, no, we have the manga. He's like, and if I did have the comics,
said, "I'll
I
keep
have them. I probably have them.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, great. I mean, yay. But I don't know. It's just anytime I make like I ask for these, there's always a comment like, oh yeah, those are not gonna be. You're not gonna find those.
Right. Those
Or
are hard to find or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, it gets a little annoying when that
I'm
kind of
down
stuff happens. But
for the hunt.
I think that's my favorite part of like collecting. Like it's so easy to go on eBay and spend whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is
But
with eBay, you got to be careful because sometimes people don't know how to ship books
yeah, yeah. But also that I feel like it's just a lot more fun like walking into a shop and seeing it and then being able to walk out with
or
it.
like a comic con or comic convention.
Right. Right. I feel the same way with games. I prefer to go to the shop, but if I have to, worst case scenario, just go on eBay and find something, and that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I think half of your collection is probably from a shop, and then half of it is from when we went to
Went
shows.
to shows, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
What about you?
The second thing was I have a. Oh my god!
You just moved me. Just kidding. You
No,
didn't move
you're good. It's a new Nintendo 3DS XL. This is the Samus edition, and it's so clean. They had it in my shop, our local shop, and I'm like, I need to get this now. So I traded in some stuff, and then I paid some,
Yeah.
and then was able to pick this up. And it's so clean. Everything is good. It works. It's mint. And again, it's a little rare, but we were able to pick that up. And then the same shop had the
Pokemon.
it's the Pokemon 3DS.
Red version and blue version of the 3DS.
Right, and that one was a little pricey too. And then they had
Yeah.
it for a while, so I'm like, I'm just gonna go.
Probably because the price.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go pick it up. And again, it's one of the rarer kind of.
I don't even think we
Systems.
opened it to even look inside.
No, I did. Oh, I
you
made
did?
sure to
Oh,
do.
okay, I didn't. I
Because a
haven't
lot of
touched it
times,
since you bought it.
unfortunately, a lot of times when you buy at places, they'll be like, yeah, everything's in there, everything's good, and you don't check it, and
It's not.
it's a mess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, always check your stuff. And that to me was probably like one of my best finds
I
and
want to
pickups.
say, yeah, a lot of it was the Pokemon games we found last year,
Yeah,
like the yellow version. I still haven't
yellow
gotten
we
the
found. Yeah,
blue.
we're still looking for blue. Hoping to buy it at a show, but we got a really good deal on the yellow version.
I know.
Um,
Looks. I can't even like. I touched it when we got it, but then after that, I immediately put it in a case.
yeah, because it's kind of like, I don't want to mess anything
No.
up, and
I haven't even opened the Charizard one.
I did want to. When I got them, I did to take a look at them just to make sure everything was good and nothing was fugazi and
No, I know, but I'm clumsy. Did you just say that?
fugazi. Yeah, it's fake. It's my new word. I'm gonna use it forever now. I I heard someone say it one time. I'm like, yeah, that's a good word for fake. Fugazi. So, but yeah, it's important to like just know what you're buying, especially at these game shows, because
And how much you're willing to spend too.
and then how
'cause,
much you're willing to spend. Right.
You know, I found that a lot when we went to that Too Many Games
Too many games.
when
Yeah.
we were looking for the Pikachu Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there was like two places that had it. I think
There was two vendors. There was just three, and then like two of them were like really bad, and then
yeah,
one
like it was missing
good.
the sticker or like the remote wasn't with it,
Or
and
the
they
remote
wanted
was
this.
chewed up. Yeah. It was a mess.
But that one was another thing that I was happy to play. I think I played Pokemon Stadium once.
Just
I
like,
put it away
I'm
because
putting
I
it
just
away.
don't trust myself to not break it or do something stupid to it. So I just,
Right, and hopefully not
yeah, I'm clumsy. So,
destroy anything. But
yeah.
I mean, for me, those were some of the most more fun ones. I wish we were recording more so that way we could like post it to the channel
Right.
and I think like for this year, for now, like this is what I hope to do, and we could do it together. And when we go to these shows or go to these shops and are able to record and kind of take you along with us, and it's weird because a lot of YouTube now is focusing on more of the higher end, more like what can I get for this or what can I flip for this. And
Yeah.
while like that's all well and good, we want to take you along on what we buy for ourselves and what we want to own for our collections. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with reselling. There's nothing wrong with buying stuff to flip, but it just feels like it's that's a lot more what's going on now in this space, and not more of like, all right, we're at a toy show, let's see what we could find, what we could pick up, even if you
Right.
don't necessarily buy it. Like, you want to be able to see cool shit. Like, I
Right.
want to go to shows and see cool shit, you know. And
Things that
of
you
course,
haven't seen since you were like a kid.
right, you want to relive that nostalgia, and again, I'm gonna let me specify this because I don't want people in the comments to be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with flipping. No, there's nothing wrong with flipping. Like, I've done it. I've sold stuff. I have friends that sell stuff. Nothing wrong with it. But I feel like there's so many YouTube channels that are dedicated to those things where like they do it and they do it well. I
Right.
want us to be able to go to these shows and take you with us on the things we find, and the things we buy and the people we meet and the vendors we meet, and give you our honest opinion on what we see and what we think about the show and what we think about the vendors in the show, and just bring that to you so that way like you kind of have an idea of what it's like to go to these shows.
Right.
um, I think that's important, and I think that was my favorite thing about comic trips, where it wasn't about, and that's the show that Jen and I absolutely adored.
Yeah.
We love Paul Brown. He's a good dude, and we watched multiple times because they took us to these shows and these conventions, and it wasn't about anything else but like the joy of the hobby.
Right.
And that's why retro and nerdy is totally fits us, because we do like retro vintage things. We also like comic books and anime and things like that. And we want to bring that to the audience, and um, it's something we enjoy doing together. In that spirit of comic trips, but you know, just doing it our way.
Right. Not, doing it differently. Like, because like we both collect different things, so that's what's also the beauty of it is we
Right.
don't collect the same things. Sometimes we do, but sometimes we don't. So it's two different, collections. There's two different,
Right.
two
It's
different interests.
two different. We have different interests, but comics, I think, is like the main thing that
Yeah.
will bring us together as far as our interests goes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as pops goes, we're not collecting.
No.
We just moved a couple, and way underpriced too. We just are getting them out.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, yeah, at first I was like, yeah, I want to get PPG for it, like, but
Right.
at the same time, like, I just need the space. So if somebody wants it for their collection, then that's fine, as long as it's not sitting in the closet or storage.
Right.
Great, because at this point, the thing is, as we get, not that we get older, but as we, mature more and we start to, our collections start to change. We
Right.
really start to want to collect what we want to, what we've been wanting to collect, but
Right.
yeah,
As for pops, they take up a lot of space,
yeah,
and we're just okay with selling the majority,
mm-hmm.
moving the majority. Even with some of our comics, we actually gave away a ton of comics, and the guy was like, "Dude, I can't take this. Here's a couple of bucks or whatever." We're just making room for the things that we really want, and you
Yeah.
know, it's time consuming, but at the end of the day, we're making a lot more space, we're making a lot more room, and we're getting things rid of things that are just pretty much sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're starting to do now. Um, and for 2022, I mean 2023, again, we're hoping to go to these shows and record our travels weekly. There'll be some weeks where probably won't be doing anything because we want to save money for a different show, or we'll
Yeah.
have something, maybe little mail call videos or something like that, or collection videos. I plan on doing a series. I'm trying to collect every classic Game Boy game ever made, which is a lot. It's over 600 titles. So, sometimes you'll see videos on that. And, you know, Jen will probably be doing the same thing with some of her things that she gets in, as far as her collection goes. And it's something, again, we enjoy doing, we have fun doing together. This podcast is a whole new thing where, like, it's fun. It's fun for us to do. And doing it together, you can't ask for anything more, And personally, for 2023, like, myself, it's a major focus on like health and mental health and getting right. I've always my biggest issue, I think, has always been struggling with weight loss. I lose weight and then gain it right back, lose weight, gain it right back, and I think it's just a mixture of just stress and anxiety and stuffing my face when I'm like down or depressed, and just one of those issues where it's like, what the heck,
Yeah.
and getting older, things start to hurt, having
Mm.
mobility issues, and I don't want to be that guy, so like joining Weight Watchers was is great. It's going well, but it's one of those things where it's truly hard because it's not so much that I want to just not like eat like I do all the time, even when I'm like, no, I shouldn't. So it's more of a mental health struggle as well. And I'm super open about that shit because it's just what it is, And the people in your life that care about you always worry about you. So you wanna do the best you can. I wanna be able to go to places and not struggle to walk because my back is being a shit to me. So that's one of the major things that really want to focus on. And the pandemic definitely didn't do us any favors.
No,
It,
because
it was a very difficult time, um, and I think that's where, like, for me, that shit took a turn because we were in the middle of the pandemic. We had the fire. We had to move. I had to switch jobs. I There was just so much going on
yeah,
that it was just the only comfort
it's food. It's
was
eating.
food. Is food and eating. So now just taking that and saying, all right, this is kind of where I'm putting my foot down on this shit, and we're gonna, one way or another, we're gonna get to a better place. So that's what I'm doing now. Jen as well is focusing more on her health and mental health, and really focusing on just different things. And I think that's, as a couple, focusing on improving yourself is very important. Like hey, we're not doing this alone. You're coming with me,
Right.
and I think that's important to have that support system, to have that motivation. And Jen tells me all the time she's super good at it too, where she's like, look at you, look at, I'm so happy, look at what you're eating, look at what you're doing, I'm happy
Like
for
this
you.
morning,
Yeah, like
I was eating horribly, but Juan was sticking to it, and
and
I'm very proud.
yeah, it's
Eventually, I'm gonna follow. It's just today was just
today you just wanted to,
I just wanted to eat
you wanted
good.
some good, and it happens like that. I think it's important to, like, reward yourself sometimes. Reward yourself sometimes for
Yeah,
doing
because
good.
the thing is with me at work, I don't really eat
Right.
throughout the day. Like I'll eat lunch, but then I won't eat breakfast.
Right.
So I'll bypass breakfast, which for me is bad just because I tend to get a lot of migraines,
Yeah.
and they get really bad to the point that I start to get, you know, like vertigo, and I can't, my eyes just get really bad. So yeah, when I do skip my food, it's not great. So during the week, like the weekends, I tend to, enjoy my,
Enjoy a good meal.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's and we're not the perfect couple, because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, we got it together. We disagree. We get into arguments. Um, I think the key is, like, really listening and talking shit out, and learning to be like, you know what, I'm upset, but I'm not going to be upset to the point where I'm not going to listen to what you have to say to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm going to keep a fair mind, and that's it. It happens. It's all about the talking. It's all about the communicating, you know, and it's just being honest with each other,
Yeah.
out of love, but out of also respect, keeping it 100 all the time, and I think that I like to do these things because I feel like it helps us get closer and closer to one another. We could sit down and just watch TV all day, or like go out and do whatever, but like sitting down and talking is probably one of the best things for me, and just learning to open up and let you in a little more every day, outside of the podcast,
Right.
and the same for you, like just opening up to each other more and more. And I think the last thing anybody wants is like to not feel like they could open up to someone they love, right? And it's very important to do that. So if you're listening, like find that one person that you love, you care for, and you feel safe opening up to.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this conversation with Ross. That's the conversation I was having with Ross yesterday. Like, you can't go and tell everybody stuff because most of those people want to see you fall, or two,
Yeah.
they're really not going to give a shit enough to the fact of wanting to actually listen to you. So find those people you could confide in and open up to. So, and that's how I feel with you. I know that's how you feel with me. And there's a handful of people. But with this podcast, we'll talk about real life shit, and talk about, aside from collecting and our adventures and stuff like that, we'll talk about just real life shit. And hopefully you guys listen and you enjoy it and you ask questions
Right.
and interact with us.
Yeah. We want to be open with
Yeah.
everyone. So.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure one day, not now, we'll talk about how we met. I think it's a story that a lot of people don't know. I think probably like two people know.
Yeah. No.
But it'll be fun to open up and discuss that. And I'm sure we'll have two very different we'll have two very different
Oh, there's yeah.
takes on it.
There will be.
But it'll be good. This weekend, I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm sure we'll do something. I think we should try to get to some store and film a video on something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Show
we'll
you our
definitely,
storage unit. Just kidding.
we might, yeah, we might have to go through our storage unit. That might be
We really do.
That'll be a fun video. Maybe we'll do that. We'll record some of our storage unit. The lighting's kind of shit, but we'll figure that out.
Nothing a flashlight won't fix.
Yeah, we'll figure that
kidding.
out together. Maybe hit up a shop or something.
Yeah.
But
Thrift stores.
yeah, this week is a short week for me because I'm off tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's today's Sunday, right? Yeah, I'm off Monday. So when you're hearing this, I'll be off, and then Jen's
be
working
working.
tomorrow though. But her video should be dropping on Wednesday on her channel, Nerdy and Inked. Again, I'll put the link in the description. Is there anything else we got for this week?
No,
I think that's
I don't
it.
think so.
All right. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on those notifications to see when we upload a video. We're working right now on, this is our second week, but we're working on some future
We're
guests.
making moves.
We're making some moves.
Yeah.
We have some stuff in the works, creating some labels and some logos. Yeah, stuff like that.
Exciting.
Very exciting shit to do. But yeah, we'll be back next week with some more. Again, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, comment. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your questions. We'll answer them next week. With that said, I am Juan.
I'm Jen.
And this is the Retro and Nerdy Podcast. We'll check you out next time. Peace.